The sky was not blue anymore. It burned red. Jisoo stood on the blackened hill, ash falling around her like snow. Her right arm was wrapped in torn cloth, soaked in blood. Her suit's oxygen line was broken, and her helmet lay shattered beside a fallen tree. But her eyes still burned with something brighter than fire. Not fear, not pain. It was something the Helix Armada never understood. Human fury. The aliens had come with fleets so large they darkened the moon. They called themselves the Helix Armada, 1,000 species united under one law: bow or burn. They offered Earth no deals, no time, no hope. And Earth sent them fire. It began with cities falling. First Seoul, then Berlin, then San Diego. Their blue plasma burned the streets. Their machines tore through concrete and steel like it was paper. People screamed. Children vanished. Soldiers were dust before their weapons could lock on. The Helix commanders laughed. Humans were supposed to beg, but in a command, bunker deep in the Ural Mountains, General Daehyun didn't beg. He listened to the static on the radio, stared at the photos of his dead family, and pressed one red button. Project Ember activated. Project Ember was never supposed to exist. It was an emergency weapon created by desperate scientists in caves under Bizan, where the last of the engineers slept in shifts beside reactors. Not a bomb. Not a virus. It was a human. A weapon born in fire. Jisoo. She didn't remember much from her childhood. Only wires, glass, and voices asking if she felt it. Her blood was mixed with something ancient, something dangerous, something humans found deep under the Mariana Trench before the Helix ever came. She was part girl, part flame, and the moment she stepped onto the battlefield, everything changed. The Helix Armada had one rule: never touch the fire worlds. There were stars where even their strongest ships melted before landing. Stars where the flame was alive. They never imagined humans would put that flame inside one of their own. Jisoo walked across the battlefield like a ghost. Bullets didn't stop her. Plasma bolts evaporated inches from her skin. Her hands lit up with white flame that screamed like thunder. And when she touched the first Helix war machine, it melted armor, weapons, pilot, and all. Her name became a curse in their tongue. The Fireborn. But even fire burns out. Now she stood at the edge of the last battlefield. Behind her were the broken remains of Sol 5, a rebuilt city, once full of shelters, now only rubble. Around her were the last soldiers. Jin, her older brother who never left her side, even after the experiments. Hana, the pilot who carried the wounded with one leg and a cracked heart. Daehyun himself, now an old man with half a lung, holding a rifle too heavy for his shaking hands. And in front of them, the Helix mothership, a moon-sized monster hanging in the sky. It spoke, not in words, but in pressure like gravity crushing. Your chest. We offered you surrender. You chose extinction. Jisoo stepped forward. Her voice cracked, but her tone didn't. We didn't choose extinction, she said. We chose you. The last charge began. Jin screamed as he fired into the smoke running beside her. Hana flew low, guiding the final wave of resistance. Daehyun led with silent rage, holding the Earth flag on his back like a ghost. The Helix opened fire. Thousands of plasma. Bolts rained down, but the fire walked ahead of them. Jisoo's body glowed now, not like a torch, but like a dying star. Her skin cracked with golden light. She was no longer screaming. She was silent. Her feet left the ground. She flew. The Helix soldiers had shields. She melted them. They had cloaking devices. She saw through them. They had minds made for war, but not for this. The fire reached their ship, climbed up its legs like vines, and burned through titanium hulls. It spread from room to room, hunting every control system, every nerve center, every piece of technology. Jisoo landed on the deck of the command bridge. Around her were 6 Helix generals. Tall, cold, perfect in their symmetry. They aimed. She didn't flinch. She raised one hand, and fire became light. When the command ship exploded, it didn't shatter. It vanished, gone in one breath of flame that swept across the sky like a new sun. The blast wave knocked Jin to the ground. Hana's ship spun out of control but landed safely. THEHFYHELIX fell to his knees, and from the smoke came a girl. Jisoo walked slowly. Her face was burned. Her body shook. Her hair floated like smoke, and her eyes glowed faint gold. She smiled. It was over. The Helix fleet fractured. Without the command ship, their AI signals broke. Their coordination died. And then came the worst part for them. Humans started winning. Not because they had better weapons, because they were angry, because they remembered. Weeks later, the message went out across the galaxy. Not from Earth, but from Helix satellites now under human control. THEHFYHELIX recorded the broadcast with Jin beside him. He stared into the camera with tired eyes. "This is Earth," he said. "To all who watched, to all who planned to follow Helix." He looked at the stars. "We are not peaceful. We are not perfect. But we are still here." He smiled. "And if you bring war again, we'll send fire." In a hospital ship orbiting the ruins of Sol 5, Jisoo lay under cooling lights. Machines blinked gently beside her bed. Her body was recovering, cell by cell. The doctor said she wouldn't wake up for months, but she did. In 3 days. She opened her eyes, sat up, and looked outside the window. The sky was blue again. Years passed. The galaxy changed. Some feared Earth. Some praised it. Some tried to imitate it. But they all remembered the Helix-Armada and what ended it. Jisoo never fought again. She taught children how to build, not destroy. Jin became a peacekeeper, flying from world to world, making sure the fire never had to return. And THEHFYHELIX was buried under a stone that simply read, "He did not burn. He burned others." No one knew what came next for humanity, but they knew one truth, carved into the walls of the Helix ruins. When aliens declared war, humans sent fire, and the stars would never forget it.